Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be reviewing Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, which was released back in 2022. Now I'm just going to be calling it Crisis Core Reunion because I don't want to say well, mainly because of saying the full title will just make this video longer, and yeah, I think it's a lot easier just saying Crisis Core Reunion. And this is a remake of the original Crisis Core, and the main story is that you are following Zack Fair, the guy who had the Butter Sword before Cloud, and then his mentor had it before Zack did, and this basically takes place before the events of Final Fantasy VII. And as I did before, you follow from the perspective of Zack Fair, and you basically see him going, basically just unearthing, or finding out about this kind of conspiracy thing by a guy called Genesis. And yeah, it's basically, you basically try and figure out what's going on, and basically just try and fight Genesis and stuff like that. And throughout the course of the game, you do get to see some characters that you'll get to meet in Final Fantasy VII, or in the remake games if you've played or if those games are the first Final Fantasy games you've played in terms of the Final Fantasy VII universe, because you get to meet characters like Aerith and Cloud, Sung, and some of the other Turks that you get to see in either the original Final Fantasy VII or in Remake and Rebirth. And this game is quite a lot of fun. I think it's really fun to how you get to see Zack interacting with characters like Cloud and Aerith, and when it comes to the combat, it's really fun. It's basically because I've mainly played when it comes to the combat in the Final Fantasy VII universe. Think you've got the combat in the original, where it's basically a turn-based RPG. Then you've got the remakes, or basically Remake and Rebirth, where it's basically just press a button and then you just do either your strong attack or your heavy attack. And when it comes to Crisis Core Reunion, it kind of takes both of these elements from the games, in that you in the original Final Fantasy VII, you get random encounters, and in Remake and Rebirth, you can use your different strong attacks or weak attacks, or strong or heavy attacks, that sort of thing. And it's kind of like that in Crisis Core Reunion, because you'll be going through all these different areas, and you'll have random encounters with members of Rutai, or with robots, or something like that, and or copies of Genesis, and you'll have random encounters with them. But you can also do strong and heavy attacks, and you can also use materia. And there's also a thing that's different. What they do is that you can have Zack be equipped with not only different materia, but also different weapons or abilities that you can use, because he does have his main sword that he has for a good portion of the game, but then he later gets the Butter Sword about halfway-ish through the game. And then you can change. Well, basically the combat changes a bit once you do get the Butter Sword, so that's quite cool. And when it comes to mixing and matching your equipment and gear, you'll have different things. You might have an item that can deal electric based abilities, or you might have one that does wind based ones, or fire based ones, or whatever you might have on you at the minute. And yeah, it's a really, really cool game. And now it's time for some gameplay. So when it comes to the gameplay for Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, it's kind of similar in terms of how it's done in Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth in some elements, because you've got your stuff like materia. So materia is in this game, and you can collect a bunch of them. And in Final Fantasy VII, they can level up, and the higher they are, the more damage they'll do. But you can also fuse materia. So let's say, for example, I wanted to have this cure materia and let's say this HP up materia. Then, because of what I used, those two materia will combine to create a cure one or whatever. It really depends on the material that you're using. So like two materials might become, let's say, an HP up, and a thunder might create a fire material, for example. It's always going to be different when you do combine materials and stuff like that. So I would say when it comes to materials, always mix and match different materials that you have. If you've got multiples of a particular one, you can mix and match them with different ones, that sort of thing. And also, you can do different missions in the game. So, for example, let's see with this one, I want to go into this one, for example, and then I will go into this one, for example, let's say, and then accept the mission. And the missions are really fun. They're basically just find a particular enemy, or find a particular item, that sort of thing. I think, because I know this one where you interact with a younger version of Yuffie. So, yeah.
Activating combat mode.
So the combat is kind of similar to Remake and Rebirth, in that you basically just press like the square button and you win. But it's also like in the original Final Fantasy VII, where you can have random encounters. Now, as you can see, in the top left-hand corner, you will see you see a bunch of like images. Now, this is basically as you progress through the game, you interact with different characters, and sometimes you'll see like these short clips of like Zack interacting with those characters, which will give them, I think, a better chance of getting like a stronger version of their ability. So if I press triangle, I'll be given a small animation of what a particular person's ability is, which is quite nice, because each person's ability is always different. So you've got, for example, because you several others in this game, you can use Opti Slash one,
Director,
and stuff like that. And you can also use the summons in the game, because they also do appear in this game like in any other Final Fantasy game. But it's like they also do like the same sort of like one-hit move. So yeah, and each one is like different. So like in terms of missions, so you've got like this one where you find different materials, which is why it's called Zack the Materia Hunter, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would say as a whole, the gameplay is really, really fun, and I think it's really cool to like how it combines both like the gameplay format of both Final Fantasy VII, the original, and Remake and Rebirth in terms of how they're done. So yeah. So that's been it for the gameplay. Now it's time to go back to the review. So as a whole, I think that Crisis Core Reunion is a really fun game. It's I think when it comes to like, if you're experiencing Final Fantasy through the Final Fantasy VII universe, like whether that's the original or Crisis Core Reunion or Remake and Rebirth, the story and gameplay and stuff like that in Crisis Core Reunion is really fun and really unique, and it feels, when it comes to like the gameplay specifically, it feels very fresh and unique when compared to something like Remake or Rebirth, when it comes to like the remake side of Final Fantasy or the Final Fantasy VII. And yeah, because you've got a strong and heavy attacks, but also you can like mix and match different things for Zack so they can use in battle, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's a really, really fun game. It's one of those games that like is really cool, and it also helps you have like a better mainly understanding, but also a better experience, as well as a more of a love for the universe that is in Final Fantasy VII. And yeah, I think it's just a really cool game, and it has a lot of really fun features and a lot of really cool interactions with the characters, whether that's Zack and Aerith, Zack and the Turks or Zack and Cloud, that sort of thing. Because Zack does really have like, when it comes to characters like Aerith and Cloud, they really do bounce off each other quite well whenever they're sharing the screen together. So that's really fun. So yeah, so that's been my review for Crisis Core Reunion. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.